Hello, I'm Seerath and today I'm here to discuss table variables. In Google Tag Manager, table variables help us to give a brain sort of AI functionality to Google Tag Manager. It helps Google Tag Manager to think for itself and make some small decisions. Basically, they are like if something happens, then do something. Like we tell Google Tag Manager that, okay, if a particular thing happens, then do this. So, sort of, it automates the process, right? Now, we have two types of table variables. First is a lookup table variable, and second is a regex table variable. We are going to see both of them in detail today. So, first, let's go to variables. We can find table variables under the user defined category. Like if we go here and click new, we click here, then we will have the option for lookup table and regex table, right? So first we are going to look at lookup table. So lookup table help us to find the exact match. How? Let's see. We want to select the input variable, right? Let's select URL UID. So we tell Google Tag Manager that, okay, when the UID of the URL is, let's say, 1212, then the value should be admin. And when the value is 1213, then the value should be developer. Now, one thing to remember about lookup table variable is that they look for exact matches, that they will give the value as admin only if the UID will be exactly 1212. They will not look for expression match. They will just look for the exact match. And if the exact match is 1213, then you will have the option to give the output as developer, right? Now we can keep adding these as per our requirement. Let's say we add one more and say that 1214, and this should be a tester. We also have the option to set default value, and here let's say we say visitor. Now, okay, so the variable type is lookup, and I have already created this variable, so I'm not going to save it. Let's see that one first. Yeah. So I have named it as LTUID, lookup table UID. And here the type is lookup table. The input variable is URL UID. And I have specified three cases, that if 1212 is the input, then the output should be admin. If 1213 is the input, the output should be developer. And if 1214 is the input, the output should be tester. And I have also specified a default value here as visitor. Now, we have set up the conditions, right? And we know that it is going to work only on exact match. So now, let's go to preview mode and see whether this is working or not. Let's click connect. Okay, so now first let's go to tag assistant and check the value of variable before passing any parameter. Like we have not passed any parameter here, right? So let's go to variables and LTUID is the visitor. Why is it visitor? Because if I go here and inside the LTUID, the default value was visitor, right? But now I want to set the parameter. Let's say I say UID 1212. According to this, it should say admin, but let's verify. I have given the parameter as 1212. Let's go here, go to container loaded. Yes, the value is updated LTUID is now showing us admin. Let's test for the other ones. 1213. According to Google Tag Manager, the value should be developer, and it is updated. 1214. It should be tester. Yes, it's updated. So basically it's working, right? But if we make a small mistake, like we just, add something in front of it, like this, it will not work. It will show the value as a visitor. Let's go and confirm this. It's showing visitor because lookup table variable just look for the exact match. Now, what if that there is a situation in which we do not want something this exact. We want a little bit of flexibility, some more functionality. That is where we have regex table variables. Now they go beyond the exact match. They help us to use regular expressions for like searching from the URL, and they identify the patterns. So now let's go to Google Tag Manager and create that. In the user defined variables, let's click new. And here, let's select regex table, right? And in the input, let's say that we want URL customer ID. Now, here we can write an expression that if the customer ID is cust1, or this symbol stands for or, if the customer ID is cust2, then I want the output to be new user. For all the other cases, I want it to be return. Now, I also have the option to add a row. I can also say that if it is admin one, then this will output will be admin. This will perfectly work. Like as we discussed, we can add as many rows and as many conditions that we require. But for now, we can leave it. I have already created this variable. So let's go look at that. We have regex cust ID. And here the variable type is regex table. And the input variable is URL customer ID. And then we have the pattern cust1, cust2, and the output is new user, right? And the default value is return user. I have named this as regex cust ID. So let's go to preview and check it. Now, if I go and check it for now, like what is the initial value? It's returning user. Why? Because here, if we go and check regex cust ID, the default value is returning user, right? Now, let's add parameters. Let's say cust ID cust1. Let's see that whether our value gets updated or not. So I go to container loaded and it's saying new user, right? Now let's go and change it to cust2 and see what does it do. It should technically, according to our logic that we have written here, if any one of this is a value, then it should remain new user. The value should remain as new user. So let's go and verify that. Container loaded. It's still new user. But what if I say cust3? Loaded. Now it's showing the value or returning user. So we saw that how can we define a regex here? We define that if the value is customer1 or customer2, then the output should be this. We defined it and it is changing our value based on that. But there is one thing that we need to see here, that if suppose I write cust1 new, right? So what is it going to do now? Let's go to the value and container loaded. So if we see closely, first of all, we have new user, right? But then the remaining part from here, new, also get appended here. Why is it happening? Because, and if we change it, this will change. Like if we change, if we just give anything like start, now if we go to container loaded, you see the string that is remaining is getting appended. Why is so? If we go to Google Tag Manager and explore this here and go to advanced settings, we have this option, enable capture groups and replace functionality. So if we untick this, that won't happen. Then we have the option of full matches only. We untick this and then we have ignore cases, but we do want the cases to be considered. So we ignore this. Now let's hit save and see whether it is still happening or not, right? So let's go to preview mode again. We go here and then we write cust1 new. So technically, according to what we have written in Google Tag Manager, this should not display new. Like it should only say new user and not new user new. So let's see that if it is working or not. In the container, let's go to variable and vertex. Okay, it is showing a returning user. Why is that? We made a mistake. Custom name. Yeah, okay, let's go here and see. This one, new here. Still some. Okay, we are doing a very, we just have not write cust ID first. We were just simply writing the value. So it was not accessing it because we need a parameter here, right? So cust1. Let's test it now. Yeah, it's showing user. And let's test the previous use case that as we have unticked this value, enable capture groups. So will it still show if we append something here? Here. One second. Here and write cost. Go to variables. Yeah. So we can see that it's just showing us new user and it is not showing us new user new. So we might have forgotten to refresh the preview mode or something like that. But now this is working perfectly fine, right? So this is how we can set up lookup and regex table variables. Now there is one more interesting thing that we can do here with regex. Let's go here. Let's say that using regex, we create a variable and the input here is page path. So we specify that, okay, if if the pattern is website.a.com, then the universal analytics ID should be this. And if the website pattern is websiteb.com, then the universal analytics ID should be this. So using this, we are switching between two accounts. If we go to like the cross domain variable where we have set up the Google Analytics setting, if instead of tracking ID, I go here and I select regex container, then the value of my tracking ID will change based on what is in the URL, right? So this is how we can use table variables to automate some process or to sort of give a brain to Google Tag Manager. Thank you.